Okay. Yesterday we started the VisComm types, so today will be day 2 of that. I'm going to try to get through it quickly and efficiently because there is a short assignment that goes along with it that you will complete today at the end of class. If you forget where you sit, here is that seating chart again. For reference, this is my desk in the back. This is the far left wall, the middle seats, and the far right wall. My big screen is up here in the front. Right. So today we're finishing up the VisComm types. And then you have that VisComm types assignment that I will show you at the end of this video. Please, please, please don't forget to do that syllabus quiz. I will show you where that's at really quick. We go to Schoology. We're on our course here and scroll down. Syllabus and classroom. Within that, here is the syllabus if you need to reference it. Here is the quiz, okay? Remember, question 1 and 2 is just saying, did you read it? And did your parent or guardian read it? And then the last 3 questions are about the syllabus. So you can have the syllabus up while you take this. It is worth points, and it is due tonight at 11:59, okay? Other thing here, you may want to take notes today in your handy dandy sketchbook / notebook. There are no printed notes. Those notes up at the front were for digital design. I was a slacker this week and did not make you cute, fancy notes. It is a good idea though to take notes, right? That way you can reference back to them. All right. I believe we left off here. I told you those fun facts. We talked about what communication was, facts, concepts, and emotions. It's conveying something. It requires a language in some sort of medium, whether it's letters, words, sentences, pictures, etc. And then we talked a little bit about visual communication. So still communication, but thinking about the visual aspect of it. We are trying to relay a visual message. We are sending, and hopefully someone is receiving those messages if we do a good job at sending it visually. You will get to pick ideas and information that you want to convey through different designing techniques. And then hopefully you do it in a very efficient, eye-catching way, okay? That is the whole point here, is that we want to catch someone's eye and communicate something to them easily, efficiently, effectively. That is the whole point of visual communication. We talked about those fun facts where we know that our brain looks at images much more than it processes anything else. We are visual beings. Okay, I believe this is where we left off. So we're going to talk about visual voice. Everyone has a visual voice and you get to discover yours. So I'm going to play this visual voice video. Hopefully. Boom. There we go. There we go. It was struggling to load the other day. Okay. An ad.
That's just so too far back in the day.
Okay.
Might not be entirely expressing yourself. See, there is a world of powerful and pervasive conversations going on, but you might not be fully participating in it. I'm talking about the world of visual communication. The notion that ideas and messages placed in a visual context can resonate with an audience to a greater extent than language alone. Images are known for the incredible heavy lifting they do when articulating nuanced emotional content. As viewers, we can pick up on mountains of information with the simple use of imagery. But to illustrate my point, I've written here a simple verbal greeting. But I do not have my PowerPoint clicker, so I will get that. Thank you. All right. A simple verbal greeting. Hello there. Now, this communicates my sentiment effectively enough. But if we tweak the visual devices at play, my message can take on a more ominous tone. Likewise, when we look at color, particularly value and saturation, we can further manipulate a message. So, this blue and orange layout appears frilly and swoon-worthy, while this blue and orange layout appears bold and industrial. I'm changing the form of my letters, but I'm also tweaking the lightness, darkness, and vibrancy of my blues and oranges. Scale can further play a part in manipulating a message, making it whisper or scream. All of this emotion communicated without changing any copy. Our eyes are trained to pick up on tonal differences in line, shape, and color. It is how we organize information and make visual connections in this world. Context can further play a part in helping to elevate a message. And to talk about context, I would like to tell you about some amazing refrigerators. You see, these refrigerators lived in New Orleans and Louisiana, as did I, after Hurricane Katrina. One of the many problems that faced the area after the storm's devastation was that thousands of refrigerators had to be thrown out. You see, most people evacuated in quite a hurry, and few anticipated the events that followed the storm. So refrigerators were left in homes, without power, stocked full of perishable goods for months in the heat. The city became a graveyard for these toxic, smelly, maggot-ridden boxes as people duct taped their refrigerators closed and threw them out on the curb. When no one came to pick up the discarded fridges, people began writing messages on them, creating an unlikely and remarkably poignant canvas for their personal hopes and frustrations. Some of the messages were humorous, like free gumbo inside, or my tummy hurts. Others were heartbreaking, like this, a posting for a missing person. Or this, asking someone, or perhaps everyone, to come home. All of these acts were cathartic, and the context of the messages helped to communicate a loss, a devastation, and a confusion that was nearly impossible to process at the time. The Katrina refrigerators became an icon of the storm experience and a testament to the humor, passion, and resilience of the people living through its aftermath. This was an example of folks having something to say and a compelling visual vehicle for their messages. Using only the tools they had at their hands, entire communities were able to transform their front yards into landscapes ripe with conversation. This is the power that visuals can have. This exemplifies that fearlessly communicating and expressing yourself in a way that can be seen can help to articulate those more mysterious things about you, your experience, and your perspective. Now, I've been in a position to teach visual creativity in one way or another throughout my professional life. One thing continues to emerge. Everyone I have ever encountered has the capacity to communicate through a visual medium. In other words, everyone has a visual voice, but not everyone necessarily believes in this voice. When it comes to visual communication, many people think that that's left to the pros or that it's not for me. But I had a choral instructor once who had the mantra, everyone with a voice can sing. Now, what she meant here was not that we would all become opera singers or go off breaking wine glasses with perfect pitch. What she meant was that everyone with a voice was eligible to use that voice and participate in the joy that comes from using that voice for melodic purposes. The designation of good singer versus bad singer only serves to hold us back and limit the use of our voices. And I'm finding the same to be true with visual articulation. You see, it is said in design books that we live in a visual world. And this is not just because we are savvy consumers of graphics and advertising, but in many ways, we're designing every single day. We design our clothes, for instance, our outfits. So think about the clothes you're wearing this very minute. Every adjustment, alteration, and combination that you have to the outfit on your body, those are acts of design. We are constantly manipulating our personal spaces. to reflect our visual preferences. We even curate the objects and images that live on our desks at work or at school. All of these choices make us art directors of our own lives, proving that we are surprisingly adept at communicating visually. Yes, a misperception exists that in order to articulate yourself with images, you must have some degree or accreditation. We ignore the fact that in the mere way that we present ourselves to the world, we are communicating visually. When people limit the way that they express themselves in a mode that can be seen, what we are left with is a landscape of sleek professional images that tend to be void of nuance and uniqueness. But what wonderful conversations we have if we all became more active participants in a public visual expression. Can become more active, and some already are. All around us, street artists and guerrilla communicators are utilizing public spaces to spread their messages. Some are critiquing social issues, others are commenting on advertising culture. More still, are expressing their beliefs and ideals. All of these people are utilizing public landscapes to be in conversation with the world. There is an art and beauty in this mode of public visual expression, in the honesty it embodies, and in the attention it demands. Plus, it is an arena that requires very little training from its participants. It requires a body, a message, and an environment to transform. Public visual expression does not even need to be particularly fringe or destructive. I've seen beautiful examples of artistic expression plastered onto people's bicycles and cars. Some enjoy costuming as a means of self-expression, commentary, protest, good old-fashioned attention getting.
If you're taking a trip with your friends,
Whoa.
Are finding ways to communicate their messages very and publicly. A growing movement of eco-street artists are working with impermanent and environmentally friendly materials like mud to communicate their messages on buildings and sidewalks. Here, artist Jesse Graves is shown painting over a stencil he created, found dirt and red clay instead of using spray paint. Other materials that can be used to transform a landscape are seeds, yarn, found objects, or chalk. All of these are safe, temporary, and effective. We need more conversations in this way. And visual devices are far too powerful to be exclusively reserved for the experts. I would like to see more people taking agency over their ability to communicate visually, rather than relying on agencies to dominate our public spaces. I can envision a world of visual communication that is not limited to those who talk versus those who consume, but is a conversation, a back and forth. If you have something to say, take the tools you have at your hand and express yourself in a way that physically alters the world we gloss over every day. One of my graduate school mentors, a talented graphic designer and inspiring professor by the name of Robert Fetlag, likes to talk of his favorite definition for design, which is taking an existing situation, making it a preferred situation. Well, I see a public landscape in which all voices can be expressed as a highly preferred situation, one ripe with creativity and innovation. And who wouldn't want to participate in that? Thank you.
Okay. Where am I at? Here we are. Sorry about the ad that popped up. I know that was super loud. It scared me too. She does a great job at talking about visual voice and gives some really wonderful examples. Every year when I watch this, the fridge example, I think is fabulous. It's very heartbreaking, sad, but also at the same time, really cool, creative, and impactful that all those people decided to go ahead and go out and do that. So your visual voice will help shape your design and give you a creative direction, okay? Everyone in this room is different. We all prefer different things. You have different thoughts and feelings. And whether or not you know that subconsciously, or maybe a little bit consciously too, that will impact your designs, your creative process. Your visual voice should mimic the message. So whatever you decide your message to be, excuse me, for each project, it should mimic that. We want it to be evident what we were trying to talk about and the messenger. So you, and if there's another messenger kind of falling behind whatever your message is, we want to also give them a little bit of a voice. It requires a vehicle, not a literal car, but you are giving it wheels. Whatever you pick to do, you are giving it your voice wheels for your message, okay? Usually in class, we do this together. I want to know what message from the video stood out to you most in regards to the power of visual communication. If you head to the back of the room, I have sticky notes out on that big cutting board. Go ahead and grab a sticky note off of it and write what stood out from you or stood out to you, excuse me, from the video, and then stick it into your notebook / sketchbook. Okay. In this class, we will be focusing on the graphic design aspect of visual communication. Your goal is to communicate visually, just like we did when we played Pictionary, to an audience, okay? I am your audience. Students that walk in the hall are the audience. A lot of the teachers within the B hall are your audience, okay? Sometimes I give you a specific audience scenario. Sometimes in here, one of your classmates will be your audience. You might have to make something for them, or I will give you an age range or what it's for. So think about your audience. That will kind of influence how you can communicate to them. And we want it to be efficient, okay? We do not want to confuse people. Sometimes when you pick one image, it does not convey what you want it to convey. And that's why we do critiques, so we can get feedback from people, hear about what their thoughts are. Maybe you picked the wrong kind of leaf. Maybe the font isn't working for what you were trying to say, okay? You will solve visual problems and use a variety of methods to communicate the ideas. That's kind of what I just talked about, okay? There will be lots of ways to solve any visual problems we hit during this course. Me, your classmates, critiques that we have, all feedback, all information is going to be good to help you communicate those ideas effectively. Visual communication versus graphic design. They are very similar. Technically, all art is visual communication, right? We see art and our brains are perceiving it. We're trying to figure out, what is this telling me? What is this image about? Okay. So whether or not you believe it to be true, all art is visual communication somehow, some way. People want to decipher things. Graphic design is the process of visual communication and problem solving through the use of typography, photography, and illustration. So we are still working with visual communication, right? We're going to be doing a little bit of problem solving with using the design process, specifically looking at typography, illustration, kind of combining those things. A little bit of photography, not a whole lot. Mostly these two, okay? Graphic design has a very specific goal in mind. We want to design a graphic that is effectively visually communicating something, okay? So what types of things do graphic designers create? There are more than what is just on this list, okay? You can go above and beyond. Some things are logos. So we see lots of logos. We talk about logos in this course. It's super fun. Talk about how people change logos, how logos have changed over time. I show you some really old old, old logos, signs, any sign you see is someone's job, right? A graphic designer has gone out and made that. Even boring road signs someone has made, cool posters or school signs someone has made. Someone has to make everything, okay? Posters, if you look around my room, I'm sure you'll see some posters in here. I'm in the process of hanging up some more. People made those, right? Some by me, some by other artists. Someone has to make these things. Advertisements, where you see them in magazines, more so I guess now on your phone when they pop up when you're scrolling through TikTok or Instagram. Someone had to make that advertisement, whether it be a video or a picture. Books and albums, album covers are art. Everyone loves a good album cover, right? Books, picture books, and then the cover of books. People say don't judge a book by its cover, but we do, right? The cover of the book is visually communicating maybe how good that book is going to be or how bad it's going to be or what it's about, right? You look at the cover and you're like, is this a mystery novel or is this a love story? If it's a really beautiful pink and blue pastel, it's probably a love story, not a mystery novel, right? Not always, though. Different page design and layouts. So pages within a book or in a magazine. Pamphlets, when you go on a trip or you're looking at a destination, those pages have been designed by somebody. Someone's job is to make it look nice, neat, pretty, and give you the quick information that you need. Typefaces, text and typefaces. We read things all the time. If you look at my wall at the principles and elements, there's a bunch of different typefaces trying to communicate what each of those elements and principles do, especially texture, movement. What else is good over there? Proportion is pretty good. So there's different typefaces that can communicate different things. And we dive a little bit deeper into that as well. We play a really fun game about fonts have feelings, and you'll see that later on. Package design. Amazon has kind of a boring package. I wish they would amp it up a little bit, but that is a package design. Someone had to make that blue bubble wrapped looking package. One of my favorite package designs is if you run or if you've ever seen the Brooks shoes, their boxes are really cool. Let me see if I can pull one up really quick. Brooks shoebox. They always have really fun little running graphics on them. Whoever made them is a genius. Okay. Here they do stuff on the inside, right? We run on science and they have all these fun images. They're telling you quickly and efficiently about the science of running. On the outside of them, they have little people running that tell you, hey, this is a running shoe. And they also, boom, show that logo right on the top. Sometimes they switch it up. They do other fun boxes, but great example of communicating effectively and efficiently, quickly getting their point across. Website templates, anything online. When you click on a website, someone had to make that. Someone added in all the nitty-gritty details. They want you to see what is most important. They're trying to, again, effectively communicate. So all of these are good examples, but there are way more out there. Okay, these are not the only ones. Okay. You are going to complete this visual communication assignment if I can escape this box. So if you come out to our Schoology page into VisComm Types, it is this assignment here. Click on it. There are 12 different forms of visual communication that I want you to look up. You will download this template, fill it out. You need one image for each, one artist, and an explanation. You will, this is supposed to say save, not safe, save and submit as a PDF when you are complete. Okay, right back to this assignment. Let me show you what it looks like. This is what it looks like when you open it up. It is the types of visual communication. I want you to copy and paste one design image example for each. So one of a graphic design, logo, and so on. Please pick an example that you prefer and that is school appropriate. Don't just pick the first one that pops up on Google. Try to find one you like. So maybe for logo, if you really like Starbucks, put that in there, okay? Explain how each example, I cannot talk, how each example communicates. It doesn't have to be a long summary, but just let me know how you think this is effectively communicating what they're trying to get across. If you think it's not effectively communicating, tell me that too. So this is not doing a good job. Tell me what it's about. I feel like the Starbucks logo, again, as an example, doesn't do a great job at expressing what it is for. Some of the older versions of the logo where it physically says Starbucks coffee on it do a better job than just the little mermaid face, right? And then find one real world artist example. So find an artist who makes a logo, or makes logos for a living. If you want to look up who was the artist who made the Starbucks logo, put them there. So do that for all 12 of these. Save it, and then please submit it back to this assignment, okay? I will see you all on a Wednesday.